Hey everyone, today we are going to draw this set of ballet shoes. We're going to use some watercolor to fill it in when we're done drawing. If you would rather use something else, you can use markers, crayons, whatever you would like. So for this project, we're going to need a pencil, an eraser, a Sharpie, some different size paintbrushes, watercolor paints, a paper towel, and watercolor paper. It is very important to use watercolor paper if you are using watercolor. It would just make it a lot easier to blend the colors. So we're going to go ahead and get started. If you'd like to grab your pencil, we're going to start with this bow up here. So we're going to draw kind of a square shape. We're going to make it a little rounded, and then off of the square we're going to draw two kind of triangular shapes, but we're going to curve them a little bit up and around. We're going to do that on the other side as well. Then we're going to fill in this part of the bow to give it a little more dimension. That'll be kind of like the inside of the bow. Next we're going to add these ribbon parts coming down up. You want to put 2 points. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Kind of looks like a snake's tongue. Next, we are going to draw these two little strings coming down. One on this side and one on this side. And then we need the ballet shoes. So you can tell these are kind of like an oval. So we're just going to start here, go around. You want it a little bit under the bow just so that it gives it a little more depth. Curve in and around and then back to the bottom of the ballet shoe. Back up around and then like this. If you have a little extra on your string, you can go ahead and erase it. Then we're going to do the inside of the shoe. You can see that this inside part, there's more room on this side, so we want to be kind of close on this side, the outside of the shoe, out and around, back up, and then leave a little more space on this side here, back up, and close it up. Then we have this X on the ballet shoe. We start with one side, and then we go to the opposite. And just don't overlap there so that you know when you go in with your Sharpie. Then we're going to go to the opposite shoe and do the same thing. It's a curved line down, around, kind of oval shaped, like a squiggly oval. I'm going to erase this couple pencil marks here. And fill in the inside of the shoe like we did last time, leaving some bigger space on this side here. And then we're going to make our X again, just like last time. And then we are done drawing our ballet shoes. So we're going to take our Sharpie, and actually if you want to add some lines to your bow, you can go ahead and do that. I added 3 lines on both sides here. Alright, and then we're going to take our Sharpie and go around all your pencil marks. If there's a pencil mark that you want to fix, now's a great time to do that. Go around and just fill it all in. So when I am doing my black lines, I like to add a little bit of thicker lines to kind of show some depth. So the closer objects, you want to add some darker lines if you want. That is up to you. I'm going to go ahead and do that for a couple of my lines that are closer. Right under here would be kind of a shadow, so that's why I'm putting a darker line here. Right here as well. Okay, I think that I am done with my Sharpie lines. So I'm going to take my eraser and erase all of the pencil lines that didn't get covered by the marker. You can go ahead and do that too. Alright, I think I am ready to paint. So I'm going to start with my bigger brush. We're going to use a little bit of pink here on the bow. So what I'm going to do is fill in this with some water. And then I'm going to get some pink paint here. And we're going to start over here where it would be a little darker. You would get a bit of a shadow from this middle part of the bow here. So we're just going to kind of let it soak into that wet paint. Now over here I added some purple to give it a little bit darker tones, more dimension, more shadow. So I'm taking some purple on my wet paint here and go over these lines so they would be darker. Going a little bit more pink on my bow here. Just blending that in. I think I'm done with that side, so I'm going to move over to this side here. Fill it in with some water, just like the other side. And take some purple. You can tell since it's wet, the paint just kind of moves around freely in there. Okay. Now up here, we're gonna do a little bit more purple because it is darker inside of the bow there. I'm just taking my paint brush and doing some purple in there. A little bit of pink. If you ever get too much paint, you can kind of dry off your brush on your towel and pick some up. I think I had a little bit too much there. Now we're going to do this middle part. Again, I'm going to fill it in with water, pick up some pink paint here, kind of start down where it's going to be darker, let it spread up. Add a little purple. This part of the bow is closest to you, so you probably want it to be the lightest part of the bow. All right. And then we are going to move on this part. Right here would be the darkest part, this part of the bow. It's tucked under there a little bit. Adding my pink, going back with some purple. Spread that out a little bit. Okay. Alright, now we need to do the strings coming down holding these shoes. So I'm going to make these a little tiny bit wet, grab some pink paint. And this part back here should probably really be the darkest because it would have the most shadow. Okay, and then we're going to move on to our shoes. So let's start with the outside of the shoe and try to be as careful as we can to stay in the line here. I'm going to make my shoe a little wet like we did with the bow. You don't want to add too much water, just enough to make it a little wet. And then we're going to go in with our pink paint, starting down here at the bottom where it's darkest, and then working our way up the shoe. Down here would be darker. You can see that gives it a little bit of a shadow, but I did add a tiny bit of purple down here at the bottom, just for a little bit extra shadow. Okay, that shoe's done. We're going to go to the next one. I've been using my big brush this whole time, but if it's easier for you to switch brushes each time, that's fine too, especially for these little parts. I'm going to go down here with my pink. And a little bit of purple here at the bottom. Blend that in. Okay, all right, let's do the little straps here on the shoes. Very carefully fill those in with some water and some pink paint. They should be pretty light. Okay, and then we're going to do the last part, which is the inside of the shoes. You can tell that they're a little darker on the inside. There'd be a shadow inside of there. So I use some pink and a good bit of purple on the inside there. That might be a little too purple for me, so I'm going to add a little more pink in there. to the other one. Going in with my purple. Okay, I think my ballet shoes are done. I hope that you enjoyed doing this video. If you did, and you could like, subscribe, and share, that would be great. I would love to paint with you again. I actually have some links in the description where you can buy this art if you like it. And there's some other things too, like some clothes that I designed and such. So if you could check those out too, that would be great. Have a great day.